welcome to the Northern Counties East League podcast. I'm Richard Watts. I'm now joined by League General Manager Matt Jones.
Hello and welcome to the official Northern Counties East League podcast. Just 2 games to look back at this week. As we didn't record a podcast last week, we'll start by saying congratulations to Woonwell Town, who were the winners of the Division 1 playoff final, earning promotion to the Northern Counties East League Premier Division in just their second season in the league. Ollie Fearon's double strike added to Jordan Kershaw's opener as the host beat Dernan District 3-2 in front of a record crowd for Woonwell Town of 1,498, more than doubling the previous high of 603, which was set just 7 days earlier. Dern's scorers were Bailey Lowe and Jamie Austin, and despite losing the playoff final, the visitors can look back with pride after a fantastic first season in Step 6 football. Congratulations also go to Beverley Town, who were the winners of the JCP Construction NCEL League Cup in memory of James Hitchcock on Tuesday night, after a thrilling 3-2 win in the final against Knaresborough Town in a match played at Scunthorpe United's Attis Arena. It looked like the final was going to mirror last season's, which saw Parkgate triumph 3-0 over Emley as Beverley raced into a 3-0 lead in the first half. But this year proved to be different as Knaresborough launched a sterling comeback, ultimately to fall just short of forcing extra time. Glenn Sarney opened the scoring for Beverley after just 10 minutes before Macaulay Snellgrove doubled the lead from the penalty spot in the 35th minute, burying the ball to the goalkeeper's left. It looked to be all over in the 44th minute as Cam Connolly finished to make the score 3-0 after bursting through the Knaresborough defence. To their credit, Knaresborough didn't let their heads drop and pulled one back in first half injury time as Adam Priestley rounded goalkeeper Jonathan Dash to tap into the empty net. Beverley were reduced to 10 men in the 61st minute as Kai Larkin received a second booking after being adjudged to have brought down a Knaresborough player just outside the penalty area. Knaresborough reduced the arrears from the resulting free kick as Jack Lazenby killed a fantastic effort around the wall and into the top corner. Knaresborough continued to push for the equaliser but were thwarted by a resolute Beverley defence, with Dash producing a couple of excellent saves. Jack Dyche's header then shaved the outside of the post before James Beeston saw his shot cleared off the line. There were jubilant scenes amongst the Beverley Town supporters in the crowd of 587 as the final whistle blew. The 888th and final game of the Northern Counties East League season had ended in a dramatic 3-2 win for the Beavers, who lift the trophy for the first time, to round off an excellent first season for themselves at Step 5. Thanks to everybody that came to watch the final, produced a great atmosphere throughout the game. As this was the last game of the season, I'd also like to thank all 42 of our teams, their players and management teams, the fantastic volunteers that work so tirelessly to keep the clubs running, everybody that's been to watch our games this season, and finally all of my colleagues at the league for their help and support throughout what has been a long season. The Northern Counties East League fixtures will return on Saturday the 26th of July. I'll end my bit of the podcast this week with some good news. After a year with no headline sponsor, the league have been delighted to announce a 5-year extension of our current benchwear deal with Macron. That will also see Macron take over the headline league sponsorship and become the ball sponsor of the league. That's great news and allow the league to continue, hopefully, with the fantastic football and games we've been seeing.
Next up, NCEL talk. I'll hand straight over to host Aaron Walton.
Well, it's the last show for the NCEL talk of the season, and it's a look back at what's happened in the league and ups and downs, disappointments, highs and lows, and such things and like that. And I'm joined by my ever-present Bob from Goal, and Richard has joined us as well, my co-commentator. So, hello, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Hi.
So, it's, as I've said before, it's a look back at the season 24-25, highs and lows, enjoyments, disappointments. A sort of end of season, like a end of term report, isn't it? A-star or could do better.
Definitely.
But like you, Bob and Richard, we were all at the JCP Construction Northern Counties East League Cup in memory of James Hitchcock between Beverley and Knaresborough Town, weren't we?
We were.
at the Attis Arena, home of Scunthorpe United. Before we chat about the game, and I think you two guys will back me up, I'd like to thank all the staff at Scunthorpe United who were on duty that night for pulling out all the stops, from PA announcing to music to having the scoreboard working to the food outlet, giving them that real cup final feel. Because sometimes we've been to these cup finals and there's not been much there, but Scunthorpe, they had it all sorted, didn't they? It was really good. I think you commented on it, didn't you, Bob?
I did. I mean, the PA announcement was first class, and you're right to say in the top right-hand corner of the ground, after the scoreline and the number of minutes played, it was really good. Oh, it's really professional, and it was well organised, well run. Yeah, it was good to host the cup final there. You know,
It was,
did
yeah.
both teams proud.
And obviously, all the Northern Counties East League volunteers were there, and they were doing a good job. I know Mr. Jones was running around, very busy. He was doing well with all his acolytes there with him.
Yeah, and I believe in the programme it said that James Baxendale's family was there. Not Baxter, James Hitchcock's family was there.
Yeah, they were, because it was in memory of James. So thank you for coming in. And it was a lovely minute's applause just before the game, which everybody took part in. Good crowd as well, wasn't it, gents?
Yeah, it was 590 something. I think it wasn't nearly 600 people. Yeah,
nearly 600. There probably was 600 with us few there. Or maybe didn't get counted. So, as I say, the game itself, for nearly 600 in attendance, in fine voice, giving it a really convivial atmosphere, I thought. I know Beverley Town, they brought a lot, didn't they? I know Knaresborough, they supported reasonably well, but not as well as Beverley, are they?
Well, I was sat with the Knaresborough supporters in the second half, and there might not have been as many as Beverley, but they made their presence known, you know.
Oh, excellent.
Shouting up the Red Army, you know, come on the Red Army.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. That's good. I do like my trips to Knaresborough, I must admit. And the teams, they didn't disappoint, did they? Beverley racing into a 3-0 lead with two well-crafted goals and a penalty. It was a Glen Sarney opener. We thought it was a little bit at beginning, didn't we, Rich? We thought it was offside.
Yeah, it looked like it. But then they had one in the net, didn't they, later, that looked onside, that was flagged offside. It did even itself out, didn't it, on the night?
It did. So, I mean, that was a nice little goal from Glen Sarney. A penalty, was it a penalty sandwiched in between?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I thought it was a little bit soft, but it was still a penalty. It doesn't matter how soft they are. If that had have happened outside the area, it would have been a free kick. There's no difference with it being outside or inside the area in severity or softness, is there? So a penalty was the right decision. Finished well, and then you was impressed, weren't you, Richard, with who scored the last goal for Beverley? Was it Snellgrove?
Cameron Connolly.
Yeah. You was impressed, weren't you, Richard?
He was outstanding, wasn't he?
And
he went to Bridlington, didn't he? I wonder how come he ended up coming back. I'm surprised he didn't get on well at Bridlington.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've stayed up as well, haven't they? So it's whether Dave Ricciardo can keep hold of all his players for next season, I think, because they've had an absolutely superb first season. I think I said, if somebody had said to Dave at the beginning of the season, you're going to be in a cup final and you're going to be in the playoffs, it'd have bitten your hand off, wouldn't he?
I thought so, wouldn't he? Yeah, especially at the start of the season they had. Well, yeah,
because Barton Town beat them, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they looked at all at sixes and sevens, but they soon, I think after Barton Town beat them, I think that was a bit of a turnaround for them, because they seemed to really pick up after that, and very, very good at home.
Yeah,
and pretty good away. So, that was 3-0, wasn't it? And then Adam Priestley got a goal in stoppage time in the first half.
Yeah, the defence, Beverley defence, just before half time went missing, didn't they? It seemed to have happened in slow motion. They get the ball and go around the keeper and put it in the net. It was, and that sort of spurred them on, as we'll talk about, for the second half, didn't it? Really give them hope.
It did, because they come out for the second half, 3-1 down, And it was that man who played really well. I know, again, Richard, another one who caught your eye from Knaresborough was Jack Lazenby, wasn't it?
Yeah. What a treat! You won't see a better free. There wouldn't have been a better free kick all season than that one. I wouldn't have thought.
I know the footage we showed on about an FM was good, but it didn't do it as the justice it deserved, really, did it? Because it was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It reminded me of the Beckham free kick against Greece all them years ago.
Yeah.
Right in top corner, wasn't it?
Well, it was that good, yeah. Because,
yeah.
I mean, on show we haven't talked about them, but we've probably got two of the best keepers in the league with Jonathan Dash and Tom Brown.
Yeah.
But both keepers are really good. The both keepers did some superb saves in the first and second half. But to beat Dash, I thought that was a superb free kick. So that was 3-2. Then Beverley had Kyle Larkin sent off, didn't they, for a second bookable offence. So it was backs against the wall, and Beverley defended.
From where we were, we was at the far side of the ground, so we was in the Knaresborough were defending, but they were Knaresborough were attacking Beverley all the time. But there was the Knaresborough keeper. I don't think he hardly touched the ball in the second half. It was unbelievable, and it was thanks to the Beverley keeper that kept him in the game, and I think they had some goal line clearances at Beverley off the line. That there was really in the second half. I mean, when they went down to 10 men, it seemed to spur Knaresborough even more. But it was. I mean, it could have easily gone to extra time. It wouldn't have surprised me because, as I said, they defended well at Beverley. I thought their number 6, Priestley. Is it Priestley? He had a good game.
Oh, for Beverley?
Yeah.
James Pearcey. Captain.
Outstanding, yeah.
Captain, fantastic. Ex-Barton Town, we won't mention that while we're Richard, but ex-Barton Town, as quite a few of the Beverley lads were, ex-Barton Town players. He's a superb player.
Yeah, he seemed to get his head to everything that was coming through. Yeah. But I said, all credit to Knaresborough in the second half. They really made a game of it, didn't they?
I thought it was a superb advert for NCEL, I thought. Really good advert. Probably, I mean, me and you, Richard, we've been to, and you have as well, Bob. You've been to a few League Cup finals, and to be honest, that's probably. I don't think Barton Town fans are going to be thanking me for this when Barton Town played Garforth, but that went. Did that go to extra time, Richard? I think it did.
Extra time, yeah.
It did, yeah. But I thought that game last night was just a tad better. No, not last night. A few nights ago was a tad better. I thought it was really good. It had everything, didn't it?
It was, yeah.
So to finish on that was good, brilliant. So that was the League Cup done. So
I can talk about the. I went to actually see, because we didn't have a podcast last week. This is a week last Saturday. Yes. The playoff final, Woolwell against Durham District.
Right.
Well, first of all, I'd never been to Woolwell before, so it was my first trip. And I have to say, it was, on the day, well organised. You arrive there were people directing you to where to park. But have you ever been to Woolwell, Aaron?
No, I've not been. It's going to be a new venture for me.
Well, next door, next side, the go-karts. And these go-karts, we watched it when we arrived there because we parked next to the go-kart ground. And they were zooming round. The kids really enjoyed that, In fact, it was quite exciting to watch,
Did you not fancy having a go yourself?
I don't know. I don't think I've been sure.
It's not very good for your back, apparently.
No, but they're really good. They go really fast. But that's by and by. Anyhow, it was a good game. I mean, Woolwell came out eventually 3-2 winners. They opened the scoring after 11 minutes through Jordan Kershaw, and then a second one from Oliver Fairham, 24 minutes. Then just before, in the 31st minute, Bailey Lowe got one back for Durham District, 2-1. Because in the first half an hour, Woolwell were playing really well. It was back to the wall for Durham District. But they came back well. But in the second half, Oliver Fairham made it 3-1. But Jamie Austin, their top scorer for Durham, one of the top scorers in Division 1, he made it 3-2. So it was squeaky bum time in the last 10 minutes. And plus also, Durham District had Liam King sent off midway through the second half, so they played with 10 men. But it seemed to spur them on.
What did Liam get sent off? A two-buckle offences?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was it. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, but the crowd, it must have been Woolwell's biggest crowd ever. 1,498.
Wow.
And when you think about it, they finished second in the league. So when you think about it, they played their semi-final match the previous week, had 600 and something. So in 2 weeks, they had about 2,200. Wow. I mean, look at the bar sales and attendance for that. It's, to be honest, because they won them both, it's probably better than winning in the league on the finances, because
definitely. I would say all the volunteers would need a. They'll be pleased the season's finished with those last 2 games because they'll be absolutely worked off the feet. I think a lot of times, I know we bang on about volunteers, but they're so hard to come by. And when it's busy like that, you're absolutely, aren't you? You're just flat out. It can be really, really hard work and very stressful at times as well because you're not paid to do it. You're not professionals at it, although we like to try to be our best. So well done to all the Wombwell volunteers. And
they probably had some extra volunteers on the day. I don't know, but
probably,
it was well organised at the gate, in the bar. The food was good. Yeah. But queuing up for the food, I bet did well on the food that day as well.
Yeah, was it good, Bob? The food? You usually have a little bit of food, don't you?
Yes, it was. It was very nice. Yeah.
What did you have? A burger, a pie?
I think I had pie and peas. I think
pie and peas. You can't go wrong with pie and peas, can you? So there you go. So that was the.
Just a little side note for us Gould fans. The manager there is Carl Rose. He managed Gould when he was in the Northern Premier League. He's the manager and chairman. Is Carl Rose?
Oh right.
So it was so great for him to be a manager and chairman. You don't get many of that in our league, do you?
You certainly don't. So if he's not doing very well next season, he might sack himself.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You took me.
So there you go. So that's right. So going on, that's nicely into where we're having a look, aren't we, Bob? We was having a look at the merry-go-round of managers because it soon starts and it'll be starting again, going mad. So I think you've got a list, haven't you, Bob? I've got a list, but I don't think my list will be as good as yours. So
right. Well, the first one I've got is James Baxendale. He's left Armthorpe, and he's took charge at Club Thorn, and he's took his staff with him. Now, I believe he is from Thorn, so if he's a local lad as well, that's a great fit for the club. Because I think the previous manager been manager for 5 years. But I think he's staying with the club. But I think he's going to be working behind the scenes. But that's the first one of it's a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
And then at Tadcaster, Mick O'Donnell, they parted with Mick O'Donnell, didn't they?
Yeah.
At the end of the season. And I think it's a former Tadcaster player, Ryan, is it Qualter? He's taken over.
Qualter, yeah, he's come in, yeah. So
and then that's another change. And then moving on, Thackley have announced the departure of Danny Forrest, who has taken over at Liversedge. He's gone to Liversedge, who has just been relegated to our league, to Premier League, North Wales Counties. And Thackley are now looking for a new manager. They've yet to appoint one. I haven't seen anything on that as yet.
No, I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything on their website either. So I wonder if Danny will be taking any of the Thackley players across there.
Never know.
Because I just a side note to that, I went with a pal of mine and my son to watch Cleethorpes Town in their last game, and they played Liversedge, and I was impressed, very impressed with Liversedge. I know they've gone down, but I don't know how much of the squad Danny's going to keep. But they looked like the usual Sedge team, strong, hard to beat, combative. So I'm just wondering if he keeps most of those players, or I think I think Liversidge could be there or thereabouts. So this is a side note. They look good. They look good. 1-1 draw as well with Cleethorpes.
That's a good result. Good result. Because did Cleethorpes win the league? They won the league, didn't they?
They did win the league, yes. Yeah, they did. So it was a very good performance from Sedge. And really, I mean, Cleethorpes got a very soft penalty as well because it was a 1-1 draw and Liversidge were winning at the time. So anyway, that's just a side note. So any more?
Well, it's all happening on the south bank, really, of Lincolnshire because Bottisford have announced that Lee Haddock has been appointed the new manager.
Lee Herrick.
Yeah, I can't read me on right.
It's Herrick, not Haddock.
Right. We're moving on quickly then. Has been appointed the new manager, I think, for the next 2 years, and he took over from Mike Thompson, who resigned to go to Bridlington, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he's kept Bridlington up in the. So he's mission accomplished for Mike Thompson. But so they've announced that Lee Herrick.
Yeah.
Herrick. Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Well, don't get me upsetting Bottisford. They get upset with me as it is. So so Lee Herrick. Yeah. Who's the next one?
Brigg. They've appointed a long-serving Stephen McCarran and Martin Pembleton as joint managers.
Yes.
With Daniel North stepping in as assistant.
Yeah, Danny North. Yeah, ex Barton Town manager, isn't he, Richard?
Yeah.
Slightly unlucky to lose his job, I thought, at Barton. He took over halfway through a season, and I thought he did fine. But Danny's he's got that experience there. So has Steve McCarran, Martin Pembleton as well. I'm going to stick my neck out and say Brigg are going to have a good season. I want Brigg to go up. I want Brigg to go up because it'll be another Lincolnshire team in that Premiership, and they need to be there. They get good crowds at Brigg. They're very vociferous. They get behind the team. They certainly get behind the team when they're losing as well. They tell them what they think. But I think Steve, Martin, and Danny will hopefully have a good season, and I wish them all the best.
And they're playing the 3G at the moment, aren't they? Well, there was last time, sorry.
Yeah. So that'll look nice. That I think at Brigg.
So I look forward to going with our team next season.
Yes, well, I might even get across myself a few times and watch Brigg Town because I know they usually play on a Wednesday night midweek. So get across to Brigg and see my pals at Brigg. So any more then, Bob?
Yeah, one more. The last one on the South Bank, Winterton. They had Robbie starting for the last 2 games, but they have appointed him as permanent manager now. I saw that on the SAP website.
Yeah.
So Robbie starts. So that's I think it's a good move for them for that. If he can get performances out of Winterton, and then they did in the last 2 games next season, that'll be good.
Yeah, he's an ex-Winterton lad. I think he started his career at Winterton. I know he's played for Barton. I know started quite well. I think he'll do well. He'll do well. He'll put his heart and soul into that, and I think Winterton they've had a couple of rough seasons. So, and I like everybody at Winterton. They're a good club. So, all the best, Winterton, and let's hope you're up there with Gould and Brigg.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
I think there's a couple more, Bob, in there. I know Penistone Church. I know it's a little bit of old news, but there's sort of a newish boy in the dugout at the Memorial Ground, haven't they? They've got Brett Lovell. I know their previous guy. I can't remember. It's Steve Lenthal. He's sort of retired from it, hasn't he, now? When obviously Brett was there anyway, and John Whitehead was there, so they're no strangers to it. But there'll be no Steve there. Steve Lenthal, he'll probably go and watch him. But if you ever listen to Steve at the end of the games, he always used to tell you how the game was as a supporter would understand it. Do you know what I mean? Rather than going into loads of technical stuff, he knew the game inside out. Did Steve? So, but Brett's been there for years, and John has as well. So good luck to Penistone Church at the Memorial Ground and Athersley Rec. They've got Rob Landon in, haven't they, into the hot seat? I think he was the assistant manager, and they've got him in as manager. So Do we think there'll be any more in the magic roundabouts of the managerial changes?
Time will tell. You just don't know, do you? But you keep hearing these snippets of news, keeps breaking, and on social media nowadays, you do soon get to know if there's any changes. So.
Well, I think I don't know if you think the same, guys, that if you're getting rid of a manager now, you may be leaving it a bit late, as managers are talking to potential players to entice them to pastures new, aren't they? So I think a lot of players will be either tapped up already or signed, sealed, and delivered. So I think it'll be a bit strange if you get rid of a manager now. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Richard.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is late, isn't it? A lot of them will be tied up straight at the end of the season, weren't they? Players and things like that before they go on the holidays.
Yeah, because I know managers will they tap players up all the time, but I think for this season coming, they'll have been talking to them after Christmas, possibly. Are you going to come to us and so on and so forth? So, and I know players like to know that a manager's going to be at the club at the start of the season and for a few games anyway. So that's the magic roundabout of managers moving about.
Can I just mention? Well, otherwise I'll forget this. It's the last match of the season for North County's team playing tonight. Actually, it's Hallam are playing Worksop Town in the Sheffield and Hallamshire Senior Cup final at Sheffield Wednesday, Hillsborough.
At Hillsborough, yes, and our good friend Mr. Adam Gittings is there watching the game. Yes, Adam's there, so he'll be doing his little. Well, I say a little. He'll be doing his vlog of the game, which are always interesting. Always give that a watch. It's always interesting, isn't it? I know you watch them, Bob, don't you?
I do, yeah. And when you think Worksop Town, they've just on a bit of a crest of a wave because they beat Guiseley in the Northern Premier League playoffs at the weekend. So they'll be playing in the National League North next year with Worksop.
Just shows you how they've come up, because I remember being down at Sandy Lane watching Worksop get a late equaliser against the mighty Swans of Barton Town 2-2 when Craig Denton was manager.
So, great minds think alike here, because before I came on,
send them differ.
Well, Worksop actually they got promoted from the North East Counties Premier League division in 2018-19. That's at step 5. Now they're going to be playing in step 6. They're going to be playing in step 3 now, aren't they? It's
Craig Denton who got them up, wasn't it?
Craig got them out of the NCEL, and then I think he was doing all right with him the season before, but I think he had a bit of a fallout with the chairman, and he came to us. He came to Barton Town. So
he's taking them from step 5 to step 2 next year. I mean, when you think about it, Worksop only 2 leagues away from Football League now next season.
Yeah, it just shows you, doesn't it? Yeah, it's a nice little ground at Sandy Lane as well. So, but I think to go up a bit further, they might have to do a bit more with that. So, well done to an old NCEL team, Worksop Town, the Tigers. So let's have a look. Have we got anything else to do? We're looking at our highs and lows.
I'm just going to carry on something from the previous podcast. I was looking at the podcast, who was coming up and who were coming down into our leagues.
Yes.
And somebody on the North East Counties site, Facebook page, it was from the non-league maps, the projected teams in the Premier Division, and they've got Brighouse coming into it, and Liversedge were relegated. Then Horbury and Wombwell going up because they got promotion from Division 1. But what was interesting, I don't know, you might know more about this than me, but in Division 1, they've got Appleby Frodingham. Now, they finished second bottom, so I don't know if they've got a reprieve or they're thinking of a reprieve. Route 1 Rovers, which I think they're in Bradford, I think they're...
certainly are.
Then go on Winterton. Leeds University, because I think I have to put an apology, because the team that won it, I thought was in Nottingham, because Leeds University comes second, but the team that won it are actually based in Leeds. So I do owe them an apology for that, near Aaron Road. And then Doncaster City, they've won their league, so they'll be coming up, and they play Armthorpe. So
yeah, they do.
So you're gonna have the landlords playing the tenants because they'll be playing each other, won't they?
They will, yeah.
And then another one, Cruel Coats. They finished second in the Lincolnshire League, but Nettleham from Lincolnshire, they won it. So I'm wondering, did Nettleham not get the FA grading?
I don't think, if memory serves correctly, I don't think the ground is up to the grading. I think I know Kroll did a lot of work on theirs last season. I think they've got some funding. They've got a new stand. They've got floodlights. So I know Kroll have done a lot of work on their ground. I've only been once before. Have you been, Richard, to Kroll?
No, I've never been. No.
Oh, it was a pre-season friendly. That's when Barton Town played. I mean, it's a nice ground then, but I know they've done a hell of a lot more work to it since then. So, but Kroll, that's a nice journey. It's a nice journey for you, Bob. It's not too far away.
It's another. See, for us, for goal next year, we've got a lot of local derbies. When you think Selby, Armthorpe, Doncaster, Cruel, Winterton, so we have got a lot of derbies next year. So that's good.
I think it'll be a profitable season for the Vikings.
Well, we hope so.
If they play well, anyway, that's the thing.
If they play well, that's the thing. Yeah.
I'm sure they will. So that's your. So Sheffield FC aren't coming up then.
No, somebody said they're going to go into the United Counties because you see, it is projected. We've lost Louth Town; they slipped off it. So are they going to the United Counties? But this is only project. I presume they won't know about these leagues till middle of June, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Whoever's got to do it, it's a headache. And the FA, I would imagine.
Definitely.
They'll have to get the maps out.
Yeah, and the rulers, yeah, definitely. We just never know, do you? Because, I mean, that's a strange one, Louth, isn't it? Because Louth seems to be slap bang in the middle of Lincolnshire, doesn't it?
Well, Lincoln played in the United Counties last season. But Louth's further south, isn't it? So it's a puzzle. It's a head scratcher, that one. I don't know.
It is. But that's who's coming. I think we sort of, especially the Premier, they know who's coming in, don't they? So that'll be an interesting one. And there'll be a lot of new grounds for Gould to visit.
Oh, yes, there will. Definitely. It certainly will be new experiences,
Yeah, it keeps it fresh, doesn't it? That's the thing. Keeps it fresh. So we're going to go on to. Have you got anything else to add to that, Bob? Before I
was just going to say one snippet. I know it's off topic, but Truro, they've won the National League South, so they've got promoted to the National League. And somebody was saying, I saw it on social media, Carlisle's coming down. So you can imagine Truro playing Carlisle on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, in December. Will be, yeah. Take a day to get there, won't it?
I think somebody said if you were Carlisle, you probably won't get back till about 5, 6 o'clock next day.
Wow. They'd have to be professionals, I think, to be playing that.
It's about a 900-mile round trip, I think.
Unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Wow. So, strange one. So, let's have a look. We'll finish off with our highs and lows of the season. Richard, I'll start with you. What was your high for the season?
I think a couple. I think the FA Cup tie at Northampton Chenecks.
Yes.
2-1 win. Was a
good down.
Good display.
It was
the
win at Eccles Hill towards the end of the season. That was a cracking performance.
Oh, that one, we didn't see that coming, did we?
No.
So going down to Northamptonshire to play the typically English name Northampton Old Northamptonians Chenecks. And we beat them. Was it 2-1 or 3-2? I can't remember.
3-2, I think.
3-2, yeah.
And it was cup time.
It was. Wellingborough Town it was played at, wasn't it?
Right, yeah.
So I think the Chenecks Do they share it with a cricket club or a rugby club?
Like yeah,
and they couldn't play there, so they played. It was nice at Wellingborough Town. We was in that nice stadium, so that was a good one, wasn't it? Yeah. What about your lows then, Richard?
I think we got annihilated at home by Hallam, didn't we? That was pretty horrific.
Oh, it was. We've had a few horrific ones. Yeah,
5-0. Thumping at home by Penistone Church as well.
Yeah, we did. We not too good. Yeah. So there's a few thumpings, but not too many. What about you, Bob?
Right. Well, our highlights. We've actually got some. I know we finished bottom, but we have got some. And that one of them, our highlight is like Richard said in the FA Cup, in that preliminary round of the FA Cup. We went away to Lincoln United and won 3-2. So that was a good performance. And also the other highlight that stands out for me, we're playing Silverstone away back in February. I mean, we were 2-1 up on their ground with 8 minutes to go, and then they got the equaliser. But we got a 2-2 draw that day. I mean, not many teams had gone to Silverstone and got a result. So that was a good result, for us. And we was on a good run then. But our low light, while I talk about a good run, while I was on the run, we lost 7-0 at home to Handsworth. Nobody saw that coming.
No.
Because the previous Tuesday we'd had a good win against a team called Barton Town.
Oh, I knew you'd mentioned that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll get that one.
Yeah, thank you, Robert, for that. That's marvellous. Yeah. Never mind. So
my pleasure. Well, I say we had last 14 games we got 18 points, and we're only going to get 9 points before the previous 24. So
yeah.
So you can see that was if we'd have played about another 7 or 8 games earlier with that sort of form, we might have got dragged down ourselves out of trouble. But we are where we are. The league table doesn't lie.
It doesn't. But is there any teams, you guys, apart from obviously the teams who've gone up, is there any teams that surprised you?
Surprises. Well, I mean, on Suze, last season they started off well and they faded, but they kept it up, so that was good. One of the disappointments I thought really was Campion, because they seemed to fade a bit this year, didn't they? They had a good season last season.
Yeah.
And Campion faded a bit this year, so
yeah. So that was it. What about you, Richard? Any teams have?
Exactly. They say they normally start well and drop off, but again they kept going right to the end and gave Hallam a good run for the money, didn't they, in the playoff semi-final?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So that's
probably
the
team. I probably didn't expect Beverley to do as well as they did. Thought it'd be all right,
Beverley's had a good season, a really good season for the first in this Premier League, really, and they topped it off by winning the League Cup on Tuesday night. That's good.
I think in Division 1, because I've seen quite a few games, and me and Richard, where Barton Town played Durnan District in the League Cup early doors, and I was quite impressed with Durnan District. I know they lost to Barton, but they give Barton a scare. They look quite good, well organised. So I thought Durnan District looked good.
They'll be strong in Division 1 next year.
Yeah. I always think Bottisford, if they can get a good run going, they always look good. They like to play good football. I mean, if they played Barton Town every week, they'd be at the top of the league. But that's by the by.
Yeah.
Knaresborough Town always difficult to beat at their place at Mans Lane, aren't they?
That's another one of my highlights. Thank you for reminding me. We actually did, but the Knaresborough fans they won't support me. But we actually did the double of a Knaresborough. That was a feat for us when he finished bottom. We must have caught Knaresborough on off days on both when we played them.
I bet you didn't mention it to the fans on Tuesday night, did you?
No. I kept quiet. I didn't even tell them I can go.
Didn't tell him you were from goal, do you, mate? I don't know. So any players who you've liked or thought, they look really good, they could go on to greater things?
The chap at Sills, is it Casey?
Casey Stewart.
Casey Stewart. He looked very fast when we played, very effective, I thought,
Yeah.
And also that keeper the other night at Knaresborough, he also plays well against us. Tom Brown.
Brown, he's a good keeper. I think York lad, I think he is, but he's a very good keeper. Me and Richard, we've been impressed with him, haven't we, Richard?
Yeah, very good. That's it for this edition. If you've got any news for the podcast or you'd like to appear on the podcast, please email ncelpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.